Hey guys, today on the repair stand we have the fabulous Enya SS45. This was a part of another bulk purchase in Glastonbury, Connecticut. I purchased this from Brittany. She was selling a barn full of airplanes and parts and stuff. You know, somebody's leftover collection. It looks like it has been sitting a while, and this is one of the engines of the group. Taking a quick look around, we can see how this engine fares. We can see that the previous owner put this in the carb to try to keep the dust and debris out. The carb's still seized up though. We can see we have a minor incident here on the head. They probably hit the top of it in a crash. Luckily, it doesn't look like they damaged the front of the engine here where the carb mounts. A lot of the times the carb is pushed back and this is all cracked up, especially around the mounting holes. And then you got to replace the whole front with the when you replace the bearings. So luckily this is a ball bearing version of the motor. They do make it without the ball bearing, and I do have one of those. And we'll look at that as a future video. But for right now, the only thing I can see wrong with it is the broken fins on the head here. Let's go ahead and take it apart and see what we have on the inside. We'll put it in the parts cleaner, oil it up, reassemble with fresh bearings. So let's get started here. Just going to clean out the heads a little bit. Make sure there's no large pieces of debris in here. This one's full of something. So yeah, you wouldn't be able to get the Allen wrench in there really well if you got full of junk. So clean the heads of the bolts out here. Probably shouldn't use another tool to do it, but all right, let's take a look on the inside. Oh, it's pretty dark on the inside. Looks like it had a little bit of use. I'll add some oil in there just to, and right around the edge here, because we're going to need to get that sleeve out. And that's going to be a tough one to get out. Alright, a little bit of oil in there. Loosening it up a little bit with the oil. You can feel the bearings are all choppy in there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to heat this up and see if we can get this liner out. Alright, as you can see, with a little bit of heat and a wooden popsicle stick, don't stick anything metal in there, you'll ruin everything. So use some, I usually use zip ties or little popsicle sticks here, something very soft, so that you'll break and cut the wood before you start bending or gnawing at the piston or the sleeve. Because if you you mushroom anything out, then forget about it. New piston, new sleeve problem. So we'll just take the sleeve out now. All right, we're back from the bearing removal. So let's take a look inside to see what we have. We're pretty hot here. because we just heated it up with the heat gun. And there we can see that the bearing came out, so we'll dump him out. So we got the bearing out. All right, next steps we have now. I'm gonna go put this in the parts washer now to let it soak. I won't turn it on, but we'll go ahead and get that in there just because it's gonna need a long time to get all that junk off. All right, while that's sitting in the parts washer, let's go ahead and address this piston. Hey, we're back from the parts cleaner. As you can see, these parts certainly cleaned up well. With these new Enyas, you don't quite get that shine from the aluminum. It always has this dull appearance, especially after a good parts washing. The OS motors come a lot cleaner than this, but overall this came out exceptionally well here for how dirty it began with. So let's get assembling it. First thing we'll have to do is replace these old bearings. So let's source some fresh ones from our favorite, the bearing box. So these are going to be the standard bearings. So let's go ahead and grab the standard bearings out of the box. Put that back to the side. So let's remove the shielding from the bearings. So the inner bearing will have both shields removed. The front bearing will just have the inner shield. We'll dig in here. Pop the shield out. There's one. There's two. And then there's three. Maybe. Ow, finger. Three. Looks pretty good. Now we pulled this guy out of the engine, so we'll go ahead and grab a regular Enya 3 glow plug to get her running. Take out the glow plug box. Let's see, number 3. It's because I like oil. Let a drop of oil on there. Look at that, it's the shiniest part of the motor. Tighten her up a little bit. All right, we're good to go. Little bit of compression. Not expecting a lot because that ring needs to seat. With a little bit of run-in, that'll work great. So there it is. We'll add a muffler to it. I think there's one in a box with all the stuff. I'll have to dig through the boxes and try to find if the muffler was included. But overall, the only thing that's needed is a gasket here in between the front and rear housing. And with that seal, it probably doesn't leak much air. So one is probably not required to get this particular motor running. But if we ever source one, we'll put it in there. But for the next video, what I'll do is I'll put this on the test stand and we'll see how she runs. And there it is. Nice Enya SS45. Very nice motor. One of the best out there. Thank you for watching. Have a good one.